Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. You join me again in the garage. We're going to be working on this Citroen Dispatch. Now, I haven't really worked on it for quite a while, and that's because I had nobody to basically drive it. So the one that I was going to put in it, he didn't have his driving license, but he has now, and we're ready to sort of put it into action. Now, we've done the bulk of the work, as you would have seen in previous videos, but there are a couple of things which I do need to sort of button up before I can put it into service. So let's turn the camera around and I'll show you a couple of the things I got to get done. Okay, so here we are with the Citroen Dispatch. Now, you'll remember in previous videos how much problems I've had trying to stop the thing leaking oil. Now, I've taken off the oil pan, the lower block cradle, resealed it all with OEM grade Loctite sealant. Then I took apart part of the PCV system and we replaced the O-ring in here, and basically it's still leaking oil. So it's not leaking quite as fast as it was, and it doesn't leak when it's standing. So basically what's happening is oil's getting pumped somewhere when it runs, and then it leaks a little bit of oil and then it comes to a stop. So I feel like it must be at the top end. Now, looking online, these engines are quite prone to having top end oil leaks, and for the most part it stems from people have done work on the cylinder head and the rocker cover, and there's lots of pipes and seals and O-rings, and it can leak out of any one of them. Now, looking below this ridge here, it's pretty clean, so I'm hoping it's not the head gasket, because this van has actually had a lot of top end work. In fact, it had a head gasket job, if I look through the invoices. So apparently what can happen is people tend to either not seal this, the inlet manifold, or the injectors can all be leaking an oily type substance. So yeah, we got our work cut out. So I've partially stripped down the top end of the engine, or rather everything but the engine. Now my plan is I'm going to attempt to remove this inlet manifold, replace all of the O-rings and seals, replace the injector seals. I'm going to replace the rocker cover seals, because if we look at the rocker cover, it does look a little bit damp. It's not wet though, but it's damp. Well, it's like a film, I suppose. This seal looks okay here, but if we follow it around, you can see quite a bit of oil there. Quite a bit of oil there. It's not like wet, but it does appear to be, you know, quite black, considering I have degreased this whole engine. If we actually look inside here, we can see actual pooling of oil. So I'm pretty confident it's leaking something from this area, and most of it is leaking then down the back of the engine. It's finding its way down the back. So if we have a look down where I've pretty much detailed this whole van, the gearbox is spotless, the turbo's spotless, the whole engine is spotless. So it's got to be coming from this area. So my plan is I'm gonna, as I said, remove these plastic covers, inlet manifold, strip it right down as far as the camshafts, clean it all up, and then all brand new seals. And basically it's not a very nice job, and it could be a lot of work for nothing if it still leaks, but you know, we gotta fix it, because I can't be sending it on nice expensive customers' driveways with their nice resin drives if it's leaking oil. I can't do it. Okay, so we've made a lot of progress on the van. I optimistically thought that I was pretty much at the end of it yesterday, but I had barely even got started. So come over and I'll show you just how far we've had to go with this. Now, I had to get this top piece of metal off. In order to do that, I've had to take off pretty much all of the turbo piping, inlet manifold, rocker cover, EGR valve, engine mount, timing case belt cover. I've even had to take the timing belt out. It's that bad. So I didn't expect that, because I was read online that you could do it with the timing belt in, and that is probably some truth to that, but it's not really true, because the timing belt gears get in the way, so you can't get the bolts to get the thing out. But it's been a long day, and also I can't get any of the parts local. No one's got them in stock, so they're coming over from the land of the baguettes. So we're going to be taking this off now. It's a weirdest design. It's like a camshaft gear driven cam. It's a funny looking thing, and I feel like that's, for the most part, look at that, that's where all the leaks are coming from. Now when I got under there, I did spot that the power steering rack's also covered in fluid, but I think that's for another day. We're going to put this down now, and we'll take a look at the engine and we'll see what we're dealing with. Okay, so basically, yeah, I had to take out the auxiliary belt, the cam crank pulley. Come over here, have a look at this. Honestly, I think mechanics are one of the most underappreciated jobs. Anyway, yeah, all that's had to come out. Arch liner, so bit of a ball ache, to put it nicely. Let's have a look at the engine and we'll see if we can figure out if there's any more leaks coming from the top. Now looking here, look, we can see like pooling of oil, can't we? So this is relatively dry, but I think what is quite common is the oil will come up here and it will pool and it will leak out. So it does appear as if it could have been leaking. I can't say it was for sure, but it's definitely a possibility at least. So we're pretty much going to just clean this up. New cam seal, new crank seal, new everything seal. I don't know if I should go as far as taking this out. I probably will, now I'm this far, and since it's all out, I'm going to do a timing belt on it. The timing belt don't look too old, but it's covered in oil and it does age the belts faster, so it's got to be replaced anyway if we want this van to have half a chance of being reliable. And dropping hammers down the engine is not going to help either. So that's pretty much where we're at. Feeling pretty demoralised, but as I like to say, it ain't gonna fix itself, so I best get to it. Okay, so it's a couple of days later, we've got all the new seals in, and we have been spending quite a lot of time just sort of tinkering in the engine bay. So as you can see now, we've got the engine bay really nice and clean. We still haven't changed the timing belt yet. Really the priority is to get the top of the engine back together, but it's just trying to chase down what is actually leaking oil. I think we've found what it was. So if you remember, this van has had a lot of work done before I bought it by a garage. One of the jobs it had done was a head gasket. Now I think basically it's the workmanship of that head gasket which has just left a couple of damaged seals and has caused the oil leaks that I've been struggling with. So we're going to take this off, replace the cam seal there, and we're going to change the cam seal there, but I don't think that's what the actual problem was. From my research, I thought it was probably this sealing surface here, but looking a bit further now, I can see it's probably not that either. Now, the injectors actually sit on this top part of the engine. It's called a cam carrier, and the injectors basically sit in here. Now if you have a look, the injector hole there's nothing really on the other side of that, so that hole is directly exposed to the inside of this cylinder head. Now when these cams are spinning around, they're going to be flicking oil absolutely everywhere. Now you might think at first glance this is the injector hole, but it's not. It's actually that one. So what's effectively happening is oil's being flicked up here, at least this is my theory, into where the injector sits, because there's not actually a sealing surface there. And because the guy has effectively put the seals back in that came out, they're ripped and they're split, and there's a good millimetre of clearance on those seals. The only thing it's actually got is a bit of excuse me, the only thing it's actually got is a bit of silicone basically to protect it, and it hasn't done the job. So looking at the injectors as well, you can see absolutely covered in oil. And basically what we got to do is, when we put the injectors back in, we're going to replace with brand new seals, because the positive crankcase pressure, I'm pretty confident it's just been pushing oil out past the injectors. And looking at the state of the injectors, they're filthy and they're covered in oil. So that's my theory. Whilst I'm in there, we're changing rocker cover gaskets, we're changing injector seals, injector gaskets, inlet manifold gaskets, cam seals, we're doing it all. And hopefully that will be the end of it. So that's the plan, that's the diagnosis. We're just going to crack on with the elbow grease, cleaning everything up, and then we can start putting it back together. Okay, so it's back on, and we're just waiting for some brake cleaner to evaporate. Then we're going to put the injector seals in, which I think was the main cause of the leak. So I'm going to put a bead of silicone round, inject the seals in, then the upper seals, and then yeah, pretty much keep pushing it forward. Okay, so we're still pushing on. Rocker covers on, new gasket, injectors are in, new O-rings. It's a weird design, but it's takes the air into the engine through the top. There's no real proper inlet manifold. And then there's a second set of inlets where the EGR valve intakes are, by the looks of things. So yeah, we're just going to slide this inlet manifold in, which we cleaned up. Most of the engine's put back together. We can see how nice and clean everything is. We've got some nice silicone seals, so everything's been redone. Looking down here, we got the new seals in the inlet manifold, in the injectors, on the rocker cover, the vacuum pump, and finally the cam carrier. So what we've got to do now is basically put the timing belt system back together. Now, bearing in mind this van's got 170,000 mile on it, I thought it's probably time we do the timing belt. It didn't look that bad, but it's hard to tell really looking at the timing belt. It's definitely not brand new, but it's not, I would say, imminently going to fail. But since we're in here, gates, timing belt kit, water pump and pulleys, so we're going to do that. Pretty simple. Okay, so we've got a brand new Gates power grip timing belt. We've got a brand new Gates auxiliary belt, which we've done in a previous video. It's got like 1 mile on it. We've got new Gates auxiliary pulleys, timing pulleys, sorry. I think that's a main crank hub bolt. Got a Gates water pump with a gasket, and then in there we've got a brand new Gates timing belt tensioner. So without further ado, I'm going to get it done, timed up, and the new pump in, and then I will catch up to you when it's all done. Okay, so we've got a new timing belt kit installed, new water pump, new crank bearing, crank seal rather, cam seal. I noticed it was in on a wonk, so had to kill it in order to remove it, and then put that second one in, which was handy because I accidentally ordered 2 anyway, so just worked out perfect. Got new pulleys. Pretty much, yeah, it's all done. It's in time now, it's all torqued up. We've checked it and checked it again. Now we're just cleaning up the timing cover and the engine mounts, because obviously they're all covered in oil, and then we're going to put it all back together. Even if we have missed a couple of things and it is leaking oil after all this work, at the bare minimum, we shall be able to track it down a lot easier. So, but yeah, we've left no stone unturned. The only thing we haven't done is the head gasket. So if that's leaking oil, then, well, I guess we got some more work to do, but hopefully this is the end of it. So we come to the final stages now of the job. Just putting the timing covers back on, then basically the air intake and one arch liner. So it's all looking nice under here now, nice and clean. All new seals, all new silicone. The trouble with this van being so old, the more you look, the more you find. The boot's gone on that shaft there, and there seems to be oil coming out the steering rack, but I ain't looking because I don't want to find. So that's pretty much hopefully they're going to be the end of the oil leaks, but I am going to let you know what the outcome was in this video. So we're going to keep pushing, take it for a little run, park it up and see what happens. Good news, the van started up and seems to be no leaks. We did have one of the injector leak off pipes popped off, so managed to put that back on. So we're just basically allowing it to heat up now. We're going to keep topping up the coolant and basically we're just going to clean it out all around the van, let it run for half an hour, and we're going to wait and see if there's any fresh leaks. We've touched a lot of seals, so we want to know if there is any leaks, but it looks okay at the moment. I know there's a bit of oil there, but that was from when we jacked it up in the first place. So we're just in the process, cleaning all that up now, and then we can see where we are. Okay, so first test drive in the wedge, and safe to say it's gone well. We had a couple of issues. The injectors were leaking, just needed a bit of reseating, and a couple of boost leaks from a clamp that I forgot to tighten up. But apart from that, it's been alright, and I think it's feeling considerably faster than it's ever felt. Because bearing in mind, it's only an 80 horsepower van. It was so slow, it was literally like a moped, but it's as fast as you'll ever need out of a works van now. So I think job accomplished, happy with that, and yeah, call it a day. Doesn't seem to be any leaks. The only leaks we can see are obviously the diesel that was spilt earlier, but yeah, we had it running idling for probably 40 minutes whilst we put the wheel back on and cleaned up the garage, and there was no oil. So I think hopefully this is it now, because I'm sick of working on this old van, but you know, it has been worth it because it's cleaned up quite nicely. Okay, so the van's come along really well. Mechanically it's pretty much sorted now. New timing belt, water pump, done it all. Gonna be getting a sign written, then we're gonna do a little vlog of actually taking it to work and seeing how it performs, but I'm sure it'll be fine. And we only do about 20 miles a day at most, 25 miles a day, so the van's not going to do mega miles, and it's all pretty slow roads. I think we don't go over 50 mile an hour all the way to work, so you'll have an easy life. But yeah, happy with the way it's going, and you know, we really do want to get it actually to work now, because we have got someone waiting to take it to work, so that's pretty good. Okay, so enough of the oil issues. Unfortunately, it is still leaking. All of the things that I fixed are not leaking, but there is more leaks, so it's just, it is what it is. Seems to be one of the gearbox seals are leaking, and the rear main seal on the block, maybe even the head gasket, but on the back it might be the head gasket. But everything that I'm fixing is now dry and is staying dry, but there is that many oil leaks, unfortunately. As you've seen, you know, everything I've shown you, you can clearly see there's oil coming out of them. So it's just I haven't fixed all the leaks. That's basically what it boils down to. Basically, I'm an idiot and I plumbed the pumps in back to front, but easily rectified. So I just changed the design. The feed comes in there, tees off, and then the returns come to the reels. So maybe I can finally now test the system and bleed everything out. So they're going to go up to full whack, hopefully. There we are, we can hear them sucking up water. There they go. So they're pushing all the air out of these reels now. So the pressure switch would kick in if there was a blockage or something, but obviously they're still pumping, so there can't be a blockage. I hear water. Oh, hey! So the pressure switch is activating, so we'll turn the pumps down now. It might not have been the pressure switch. I didn't actually touch the calibration, so maybe I was activating. And that's pretty much how you bleed them. So that's going, that's going, and we should see, I could show you on the app, but my phone's not working. I'm using my phone right now. So if the pumps are going at 50% or 75%, they are drawing only 5.8 amps, and I got 6.5 hours at that flow rate. That's without starting the van. So the second you start the van, they would the battery would get a charge as you move from house to house. So down to 40, we'll see that the amps they're pulling has dropped down to 4, and we got about 7.5 hours. Now that'll probably go up a bit more. Doing quick maths, we probably have got more likely 12 or 13 hours of pure power, but as you know, when you're working, they're never running constant. So yeah, it's pretty much all up and running now. All I'm going to do, fit a couple of connectors onto the end of them hoses, and I think we'll call it a day for this video. Okay, so to conclude this video, let's just recap on what we've done. So new timing belt, new water pump, new battery. I didn't actually show you that. We've got a brand new Duracell AGM, injector seals, cam cover seals, rocker cover seals, cam carrier seals, crank seal, cam seal, any seal. It's all been done. New belt, etc, etc. Injector bolts all been replaced because they were stripped. Loads of things which might not have even been shown on camera. So now technically the van is ready for work. There are some things that need to be done. I still want to fit this pressure washer system and make a fabricated frame to go there. I still want to get a sign written. I want to improve the cosmetics of the van, and to be honest, it is still leaking a bit of oil. It's a drop or two a day, which I don't think is that bad, but still, you know, I want this van to last, so I do want to fix it. Yeah, a couple more little refinements, but you know, the van's come a long way. So I've had a couple of comments asking me to do a cost video on how much I've spent building this van, so I'm going to do one of them soon. Basically, I had the van very cheap, or well, practically free. Depends which way you look at it. The van was free and I paid for the equipment. That's the way I was viewing it. So I paid 3 grand for this van. It had which is way overpriced for this van, because this van's worth like £400 when I had it. But it come with a streamlined window cleaning cage, tanks, and £2,000 or £3,000 pressure washer kit in the back. So and a few poles and things like that, which I actually have sold, made money back. So I think actually the van has cost me about 1,500 quid. But then I have spent a lot of money in the equipment, like the reels and the protector coat and everything like that. So I'll do that in a future video. It'll be an interesting breakdown, and then I'll do like a price to show you how much it would cost you if you were going to try and replicate this build, and why these vans are good. But I think that's enough for this video. It's a bit hectic, a lot going on, but hopefully we're finally getting somewhere with it. So yeah, let's call it a day. Cheers guys.